Welcome everybody back to the TheDomCast episode 28. Today is September 7th. It is a Saturday morning actually, and I purposely waited to record it this close to actually posting because yesterday was 2K day. Actually, I got it on Thursday night at 9 p.m. So I wanted to get as much time on the game as possible before I brought you this podcast because all along, because of where the calendar was, I knew that I was going to use this pod to just talk 2K, whatever the subject matter may have been. And we now know it is going to be about one of the, I would say legitimately one of the roughest launches that I think I've experienced on a 2K day. And I'm talking about everything from the actual functionality of the game to the common opinion of the game. But I'm gonna throw my opinion in as well because I think I differ in crucial areas than what I've read. So I just want to give you everything you need to know about this game, whether you actually have it or you're planning on buying it or you're deciding whether you should wait or not. I want to tell you everything that's going on right now, what maybe we can expect in like the next week or so because you know there's going to be a patch, and what we experienced on launch day. So first of all, I'm just gonna start off with some light opinions. I'm gonna get further into gameplay and game modes and all that, but if you've been listening the last few weeks, you know it's been like a little footnote in every podcast I brought up that the PS5 is coming out next year, or so we have reason to believe that might happen, right? We don't actually know for sure, but we have reason to believe it might happen. And I've been bringing that up because of what people were seeing with 2K20 previews and basically saying that there's a lot of resources probably going into NBA 2K21. Now, I think that with NBA 2K20's user interface, I think that's evidence that they are probably working hard on 2K21 because a lot of the interface is the same. A lot of things were left the same, I'm just gonna be honest. But again, I kind of want to start at the top and get deeper. So starting with the user interface, that's where I think a lot of people are saying, oh, well, this is just the same game as NBA 2K19. Because if you actually played the game, if you spend any time with the gameplay, you know this is not even close to being the same game as 2K19. They are not the same. The gameplay is dramatically different from last year. It doesn't play the same, and that's why people are getting killed online in my team right now. I played 5 games yesterday. I only lost 1 because everyone's hopping on trying to play 2K19, and this is not that game. But anyways, back to the user interface. Things like the pause menus, the color of the menus, all of that was basically copy and pasted from NBA 2K19. So not the main menu, right? The foyer area, you know, when you first boot up the game and like they have like that 3D backdrop, they did change that. It's the same format, but they changed all that. But when you're scrolling through the menus, yeah, it looks exactly like NBA 2K19. That's a very minor detail, but I just put that out there for 2 reasons really. One, because I pay attention to things like that and I wish they would have changed it. From year to year, especially when you're buying an annual game, one of the things that at least helps it feel like a different game is the fact that the menus will be completely different. So 18 doesn't look like 17, 19 didn't look like 18. But there is heavy resemblance between 20 and 19 there. But I also bring that up because that, coupled along with leaving things like my league the same and basically leaving the park the same, all of that leads me to believe that our assessment of resources heavily being poured into NBA 2K21 is right. That's all I can really think at this point. Because to leave simple things like that they usually change to me means that there is focus elsewhere. I really think we're going to be sitting here a year from now playing NBA 2K21 on the PlayStation 5. That's what I believe right now. But since I dabbled into the park, let's just go ahead and go there because I'm not going to spend like 30 minutes talking about the user interface, right? The park is the same. I haven't been there yet, but I've seen all the screen captures of it and I've seen all the recordings. I'm still working my way through my career in the prelude. It's actually pretty long and it's enjoyable. I'm going to get there as well. But the thing about the park is, okay, do you guys watch Essence of Clutch? He's a dope YouTuber. He makes some really cool 2K mixes, 2K park mixes, and one of his recent mixes, he basically made a montage out of Ronnie 2K saying that this year's park was not going to be the same. So I heavily recommend that you search that up because on the stream, it was basically a stream of Ronnie saying that people jumped to conclusions on the trailer and that the park wasn't the same, but word for word, he said people can believe what they want. And then he said something like, yeah, of course we kept the square the same. And that's what I was talking about on the last podcast. I didn't think they were going to change the whole format of the neighborhood because I believe that they had a format that they liked where they could keep everybody in one place. So he implied on stream that that is what was kept the same, but what was shown in the trailer was not the park. And we got the game and the park is the same, fam. The park is exactly the same. If you look at the video Essence of Clutch posted, because he put side by side screen recordings, the only difference that you can tell is between the parks is if you look at the floor on NBA 2K20, they have like a different design there and maybe one building is different, but everything is the same. They added, you remember that little ramen shop that they showed, the ramen noodle shop that they showed on the trailer? You can't enter that place in the game right now. Maybe that's coming in a patch, I don't know, maybe that's coming later. Right now it's just a sign that says ramen. Okay, so this is kind of crucial because Ronnie is on, it makes you wonder what are his credentials? It makes you wonder that. And you know, I don't openly go after people. I pretty much reserve my opinions about everybody to myself, but on this specific case, what do they tell Ronnie? What do the devs tell Ronnie, or did he just flat out lie? Which one is it? Because he's the 2K figurehead, right? He talks to the devs and he doesn't actually make the game. That's been the funny thing for years now. People always send Ronnie's mentions on his Instagram photos, fix your damn game, Ronnie. That's hilarious. It's never him. He doesn't make the game, but you assume he's in with those guys, right? And he said on the stream, like, definitively none of this is the same, but it's the exact same. So was there something changed at the last minute? Was there a misunderstanding between him and the devs, or was he just flat out lying? People were also upset because he talked about how there were going to be more pie charts in my career, and right now there is no more pie charts. Now, I wonder if something like that is coming with the patch, but again, most of us have already made our builds. Most of us are already playing with our builds, so can you change it halfway through this year? Can you go back and change that? I'm not sure if you can go back and change something that essential. I think you can. I think that's one of the things they talked about. So I'm waiting to see if that's actually going to come in a patch before I just say, like, what was he talking about there? But as far as the park, damn man, that's what we doing here, really? The park was not the only thing left the same. Play Now Online was left exactly the same. Copy and pasted. Everything looks the same. The only thing I cannot speak to right now, because I wanted to learn the game more before I actually get online and put my record on the line, and I want to let more people play because no one's playing the mode right now. If you advance, you won't find a match. But the only thing I don't know is if they actually at least tweaked the tier system so that you will get matched with other teams. Being that all of these problems have existed for years, I highly doubt it. I really think they just copy and pasted the code straight into this game, and they didn't make any tweak whatsoever. That's kind of crazy, man. That's kind of crazy. This mode is known to basically have been unplayable from 2K19 because of the issues, because of the matchmaking. They didn't address anything with it, and they didn't even add, like last year they added the control, right? The my player control or whatever, where you can control one person from the team. It was a sorry feature, nobody wanted to use it, but they added something there. This year they just slapped it right back on. That's another reason I think a lot of the resources are probably going to 2K21, because that and the park exactly the same, not touched. I did not play my league yet. I'm not going offline for a reason I'm going to get to soon. I'm waiting to go offline for a patch, but I heard my league has no changes, and my GM, look, I've never liked my GM. In NBA 2K14, when they switched out my GM for, what was that? They had switched out my GM for the association. I hated it. But this year I heard in my GM that you can't change the difficulty, you can't change the time limit on games. Simple options are missing. Now, I don't know if there's been some update to address that or if that's coming in a patch, but god damn, really? Basic things like that? Another basic thing is missing in the playoff modes. Do you remember where I said in the playoff modes last year that you're not able to use custom rosters? So like, say I just want to start a YouTube series where I do like legend teams inside of a playoff bracket. Yeah, so that type of thing, you can't use custom rosters there. There's still no option. That's a very simple thing that's not there. So all of that has been copy and pasted. This year, if you got the Legend Edition, for the first time since NBA 2K15, there was no poster. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I did not get the special edition of NBA 2K15, so I'm not sure if there was a poster that year, but my poster collection starts in 16, and this year they had the best case. This Dwayne Wade case is absolute heat. This is probably the best case they've ever done, and they don't sell a poster with it. Why all of a sudden the stopping of the posters? So yeah, I would tell you as somebody who's bought the Legend Edition, if you're still thinking about it, there's no reason. Don't even bother with it. I don't even know if you can get it after pre-order, but yeah, don't bother with it unless you just want to conveniently have like some My Team packs or the 100k VC or some stuff for your My Player. Look, I get it because I can, okay? Every single year I just get it just because I can. Not gonna lie, this year I kind of expected there to be a poster. I didn't even bother to look into the last day to see that there wasn't, but that's normally why I get it, is because of the collector stuff that comes with it. Like in NBA 2K19, they had the stickers that came with it and the wristband, all that collector stuff that I just keep for years and years. I have it well into my 30s. That's normally why I get it. So like, if that's why you get it, don't even bother this year. Just get the standard edition. And essentially for NBA 2K20, it seems, I heard this, I think this is what Brian Mazik said. If you guys follow him, he does like a lot of articles for 2K. I believe it was his words that it seems this year they really just tried to focus on gameplay and almost nothing else. Like they tried to make the game better by doing gameplay fixes, and that's another thing that makes me think, again, a lot of stuff has probably gone into NBA 2K21 for next gen. That's my conclusion there. Because every other year, there's some things that change, right? Whether it's the park or whether it's some new features, whether there's some things changing in like the, in my league or whatever, wherever they change some things, they normally add some different things outside of gameplay. And this year, it really seems like everything was just gameplay. Of course, except for like my team, right? There were the changes to my team. I already made an entire video about all the things they brought to my team. And before we get to gameplay, let's start there, because remember at the end of last podcast, I did not address the My Team controversy because I hadn't looked into it. I'm not going to talk about something I don't know anything about. I went and looked, and at the time of that podcast, I didn't even realize that 2K had actually hidden their trailer. I did not realize that. They hid it because you had some really big YouTubers go out and make videos and just basically smash My Team. Every My Team trailer, like the people who re-upload 2K's trailers, all of them have like big dislike ratios. And from what I was able to gather, and from the comments that I read, people were talking about gambling, and people are angry because 2K is promoting gambling and the slot machines and the spinning the wheels. Of course, it's probably been dubbed My Casino by now. Okay, but I didn't 100% understand that, because since Play Now Online has basically been decommissioned and systematically destroyed over the last few years, I've transitioned over to My Team because that's the only place I can find some people to play online one-on-one in a 5v5 setting, because Play Now Online is not even worth your time anymore. So I switched over to My Team. That's where most of my 5v5 gameplay has come from in these recordings that I have. And I still like My Team. I liked it last year until people started using all those BS lineups. Of course, that's when I stopped. But I'm back on this year, and here's what I didn't understand, right? People were talking about gambling and all that, and it seemed like a lot of the anger was because of the spinning wheel and because of the slot machine, but I didn't know if people understood that those, you don't pay to use those. So if that's a detail that you did not know, there is no VC involved in you going to pull the slot machine or My Team coins. You don't insert anything into those. Basically, those are just how your rewards are presented. So like when I logged on yesterday, I was able to spin a wheel just for logging on. I believe so. I'm not sure exactly why they gave it to me, but I was able to spin a wheel and it just gave me a prize. That was it. The pinball machine, the little pinball thing, you know, the drop the ball game, that's the same as last year, except they've added more of them, and it is for when you play Triple Threat online. After you win a triple threat game, you get to go drop the ball. That's the same thing as last year. I saw some people flipping their shit about that and losing their shit about it. It's like that's simply, there's nothing involved there. That's you win a game, you drop a ball, and you get a prize. The slot machine, from what I read, is again just a prize presentation. So I'm not sure after what mode you play, but you play a mode and then I guess you win a game or whatever, and you just pull the slot machine and try to get a prize. That's it. There's no gambling involved anywhere in that. The only gambling involved on My Team is the same gambling that's been involved for years now, ever since My Team has come into existence. You're going to spend either your VC or your My Team coins on packs, and that's happened in multiple games. And the pack is either going to be shit or you're going to pull something that you can actually use. So yeah, technically that's gambling, but that's always been there. That's not new. So I think if everyone understands that, then I guess the outrage is just because of the presentation of these slot machines and the spinning wheels, and that being in a game that children might play. I guess that's what the anger is about, because I don't know what else it would be at. You're not gambling any other way than you already have been for the last 5 years. So look, I'll absolutely call 2K out when they do some lazy shit or some wrong shit, as I have for the last like 10 minutes of this podcast, but I saw there was just so much anger about that. I had to go look into the situation, and when I looked, I felt like I found people who don't play 2K and they saw the trailer and they flipped their shit, and then that was it. I felt like if you actually played the mode, and I've been playing the mode, you find that they've actually done some pretty cool stuff. It's an entertaining mode to me. I find entertainment out of it, and maybe you don't, that's fine. Everybody finds entertainment out of different things. Hell, people have loved My Career since it came out. This year, I am like a first time My Career player. This is the first time I've ever enjoyed it, so I'm not saying we're all gonna like the same things. I've seen people say My Team is boring. That's where I'm finding my fun right now, especially while I wait for them to get offline fixed. I thought it was a very cool change that they gave you a starter player this year in My Team, so instead of going and opening packs and hoping that you get somebody good, they start you off with either D Rose, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, or Hakeem Olajuwon. They start you off with those evolution cards. Evolution cards means that there are objectives that you can complete on that card to make it evolve into like the next tier, right? So you have like the Sapphire cards and all that. You can actually evolve those cards. I started my team based around T-Mac because that was the guy that got me into basketball. I wanted to pick D Rose and Hakeem so badly, but I was like, I can't do T-Mac like that. And I think I made a good choice. And I think some of the things they did there are awesome, because immediately on T-Mac's card, there were objectives for me to complete. So I took him online, and one of my goals while I'm playing people people is to bust their ass with T-Mac. It gave me something to do instead of just mindlessly playing the game. I evolved his card a little bit. Sometime this weekend I'm going to start the Spotlight series, Dwayne Wade Spotlight series, because there's plenty of ways for you to earn all types of stuff, all types of cards, all types of coins. There's plenty to do in that mode. If you just like, I don't know what your guys' opinion is on my team, but if you take your guard down for a second and go play the mode and just see what's there, I think you'll find that there is hours and hours of entertainment. Triple Threat Online is back. I hate what they did with the court, by the way. Once you get on Triple Threat Online, you will see that they did something with the court. They made like a galaxy backdrop, or not backdrop, but the court, it's like a galaxy design, and it hurts your eyes. I hope they patch that. But yeah, other than that, look, this is why I said, like, I try to limit my internet use. This is why I try to limit my scrolling, because I wouldn't have even known there were like big problems, or that there was big outrage with my team if I hadn't looked for it. Because the mode has plenty to do. It's plenty of fun, and I feel like that shouldn't even be a controversial thing to say. Like, check this out, right? I'm gonna show you how you could have like 3 decent players on my team in your first game. Because people say that it's pay to play and, oh, you can't even touch this mode if you don't pay. Alright, well, check this out, right? You could have pre-ordered the standard edition of the game and just played $60, right? Nothing special, just pre-ordered the standard edition, and I'm pretty sure you would have still gotten the Anthony Davis My Team card. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but from the card that I received, I think that's how it works. Just straight pre-order, right? So that gives you Anthony Davis. The starter card they give you, again, you get to pick one of those 5 great players I started. So that right there gives you a dynamic duo just off the bat. You haven't spent a dime yet. After that, the first challenge this week gives you 3 My Team tokens. I'm sorry, I think it gives you 6 My Team tokens. The challenge is simply to go online and win a game. I don't think that's too difficult. You go, you play somebody, the matchmaking tries to pair you with somebody that's close to your skill, which out of the 5 games I played, I only had one that seemed like I shouldn't have actually gotten into that game. But it was also because I was playing the challenge where the games, the quarters were only 3 minutes. I'm not sure how many people were even on that server, so there wasn't a ton of people for me to be matched with probably. But every other game I got was close in skill. All of our teams pretty much only had about 3 or 4 good cards maybe. But okay, after you win that, you have 6 tokens. Now you can take those tokens and go and unlock rewards, and you know where you go and you can buy like emerald cards and sapphire cards. Those cost 3 My Team tokens each. They had some pretty decent players. They had some pretty decent emerald cards. There's DeMarcus Cousins, Steve Kerr, Jason Richardson. For the way my team is set up, I chose DeMarcus Cousins and Steve Kerr. Bam, right there. Already my team, without spending any money, right? Your team can already have, let's say, an Evolution T-Mac, Emerald DeMarcus Cousins, the Anthony Davis, and then whoever else you pick with your tokens that you just won. That probably depends on your team. I got Steve Kerr. Again, I needed shooting. You're already looking kind of good. My team Domination mode and the Spotlight series, you can get plenty of cards playing those. There's a Dwayne Wade, I can't remember exactly what rarity he is, but the first game you play of the Dwayne Wade Spotlight series gives you a D Wade card. There you go. That's a 5th guy. You can already have D Wade on your team without spending any money. You can go through Domination. The hardest difficulty on Domination is All-Star, because when you dominate a team, it gives you 3 stars. The 3-star mode is on All-Star difficulty. That is not hard, especially for the team that you might already have. There are ways for you to earn things. There are ways for you to get cards. There are ways for you to get coins. I'm sorry, my problems with my team, the reason I quit playing last year, it didn't have to do with having to spend money. It just had to do with the fact that people were playing these dumbass lineups having like Yao Ming at point guard. That's why I quit playing my team last year. I didn't quit playing because I thought I had to spend a bunch of money or anything like that. Look, I just implore people, go play the game, go if you have it or if you plan on getting it, right? Form your own opinion on it. Form your own opinion on the mode. I just felt that I had to address that because I saw like the craziest outrage I've ever seen to any mode, and I don't fucking get it. I don't. Like, I saw a complaint about the requirements for Galaxy Opal Dominique Wilkins. The requirement is that you win 1,000 triple threat matches. First of all, if you know anything about Galaxy Opal, that's kind of appropriate because Galaxy Opals are the most OP thing in like any video game ever. I don't even like Galaxy Opals, but okay. The other common complaint I've always heard about video games and where it's been going the last few years is that everything is about microtransactions and you have to pay to play and all that. But then there's something like the Dominique Wilkins that reminds me of games when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid and you were playing, let's say, Super Smash Bros, you had to do some ridiculous grinding to get like the Mewtwo and the Mr. Game & Watch. There were games like that where you just had to play and play and play before you got these characters. That's what the Dominique Wilkins reward is. I don't get it. Please explain it to me if I'm missing it, but that sounds like I would rather have to grind for him than just have people, have him on the market and have people being able to go buy him or get him with VC or whatever. I think that's cool that he's damn near unattainable, because that reminds me of some shit when I was a kid. That reminds me of some grinding in video games when I was a kid. I didn't see the problem with that. Now, for everything I just said, there are definitely some issues with this mode though. I made a whole video, well, not about that one issue, but it was a big part of the video, right? So in my team, you know that they had brought position locks this year. I said that it looked good on paper and that we needed to see it executed, but I was very excited, and I have immediately run into a problem with it. And it's a problem that should be patched. This is a big problem. Your cards, every card does not have dual positions. So if you didn't know, position locks on my teams basically means that the player can only play the position that's on his card. For instance, the Anthony Davis pre-order is only a center. That's all he has on his card is center. Now we know damn well Anthony Davis can also play power forward, but because of position locks, I cannot play AD at power forward. I have AD and DeMarcus Cousins on my team. I would rather have AD playing power forward right now than Jabari Parker, and then I would rather have DeMarcus Cousins playing center, but I can't do that because of the position locks. Also, I have T-Mac and Dwayne Wade. One has to come off the bench because both of them are shooting guards. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Who up there at two? How did y'all sit there and make that mistake? Come on now, come on, man. I heard that the T-Mac, once you evolve him, he becomes a small forward, I think. But come on, man. No. See, Dwayne Wade is not an evolution card, so he's stuck at shooting guard. That Dwayne Wade that I have, that's a younger D-Wade, I believe. He can definitely play the point guard because that's where he started, right? I'm not trying to get that BS of playing everybody at point guard, but D-Wade did play point guard in Miami very early on. Anthony Davis is not an evolution card, so he's just going to be stuck at center. No. Anthony Davis is probably going to be a starting power forward this year. That does not make sense. I'm literally stuck with Jabari Parker in my team right now because I can't play Anthony Davis there. That has to be alleviated. Come on now. This is position locks gone wrong. When I heard position locks were introduced into my team, I was happy because I thought, yes, this means that people aren't going to be able to make cheese lineups. We're actually going to have good games, which I did last night, by the way. But this is too restrictive. Because even in the game, right, if I want to play small ball, I can't sub. I have Brandon Ingram on my team right now, and I can't sub Brandon Ingram into the power forward slot. I could use Brandon Ingram at power forward if I needed to. In real life, he has probably played some power forward before. He's really skinny, but I'm saying in certain situations, there's no way you can tell me that Ingram could not be a 4 in today's NBA, or that he couldn't see some time there during a game. Yeah, the position locks are definitely too restrictive. So that will basically now bring me into gameplay, and I saved gameplay for closer to the end because that is what saw the biggest change this year. That is where you can tell who's played 2K20 and who's just going off of other Twitter opinions, because the gameplay is not like 19. It's not. So many things have changed. So many things are in different places. The pacing of the game, it's all different. So I'm going to start with a negative here. The game is entirely too slow. And that I started seeing that before I had even really experienced it. But yes, the game speed needs to be tweaked, and I think it will, right? Because this is kind of an obvious thing. No NBA game is as slow as the one we're playing right now. No real life NBA game is this slow. So this is kind of a double-edged sword because I like what they've done. I like what they tried to do here, but it has more to do with the controls than what they did with the actual pacing. So with the pacing of the game, this is where I was able to just feast on people on my team last night. I'm not even gonna lie, I was trying to take advantage of people trying to play NBA 2K19 because there is a Larry Bird card if you can go 12-0 in my team unlimited. So I figured I'm gonna just get online while people don't know how to play this game, and it almost worked. I lost one game, so I don't think I can get him now. I think you only get one shot at it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But okay, check this out. At points, it literally feels like your players are running in quicksand, and there's a lot of missed opportunities because of it. So there'll be a player wide open under the basket, but by the time he's able to move closer to the basket, or by the time he's able to get a shot up, the defense is already able to kind of get to you and contest your shot because your players just move so incredibly slow. There'll be openings that you think you see, but the game is moving so slow that by the time you get the ball to where you were trying to go, that opening is just no longer there. They're just moving so incredibly. I don't know how to really describe it, right? This is a feeling that you have when you actually play this game. It just feels like they're running in mud. The game has got to be sped up some. And I was reading developer tweets before the game and all that before it had ever come out, and that was a big thing everyone was talking about, was the momentum change and the speed, and they're trying to go for more of a realistic thing where you have to use some skill. That part I support, because one of the big things I think I read from the Czar, forgive me if I'm wrong, I don't know if this was exactly him that said it, but he was, oh no, actually, yeah, I was wrong, it was Mike Wang. He was saying how the R2 button this year is not meant to just hold on to and just try to run past everybody. The R2 button is for a change of speed. It's supposed to be for a burst of speed, so when you see an opening, when you want to get a move move off is so you can, shoot the gap, shoot into that opening. It's not like the previous year where people just use R2 just all the time and just run everywhere. I appreciate that change because I never liked playing people online where all they had to do was just hold R2 the entire game, just speed past you. I disliked that. I very much dislike that. But it needs a tweak though, because even when you're pressing R2, right? I think the players, it almost makes you fearful of pressing R2 because players get tired so quickly. You guys like Dwayne Wade, who is a slasher, you guys like T-Mac. I feel like it's been very hard to take advantage of their speed so far because the game overall is so slow. Now don't get me wrong, T-Mac is still nasty. T-Mac, I am destroying people online with T-Mac, but it's mostly because of dribble moves. Now that's a change that I like. I like the dribbling this year. If you're going to buy this game, I suggest the first thing you do is hop onto 2K University, go onto the dribble tutorial and just mess around with dribbles. Just get some moves in your head that you want to use during the game, because right now I am destroying people with the behind the back dribble. You pull down on your analog and your player dribbles behind the back, and for a guy like T-Mac, that gives you so many options. That gives you options to not make it so obvious which direction you're going. That gives you options to pull up when it looks like someone's giving you space, because that was a specific thing last year, right? Like you'd be dribbling the ball in front of you and somebody, you didn't know whether to pull up or not because you thought they could always close that gap. Well, with a guy like T-Mac, who is a shot creator, hiding the ball behind your back, dribbling behind your back, if the guy gives you space, you can pull up immediately and you can get an open shot. And there is just so much, because the momentum of the game has changed, because of the speed change, and that I assume is going to stay. I assume even if they speed this game up, it is still going to be a heavy focus on learning actually how to play basketball with skill and dribbling and how to manipulate the momentum. I think that's still going to be a big thing, even if the game does see a little bit of a speed boost. But I still think there's going to be a heavy emphasis on dribbling and creating space, which by the way brings me to the issue of blow-bys. Blow-bys are apparently back. Now, not the exact same blow-bys as NBA 2K18, at least I haven't really noticed that. You know, the blow-bys where your guy would literally like put his arm on the other player and push him back, and the thing that made the game way too easy. Yeah, the blow-bys are a little bit different this year, but I think it's because defense is so much harder. Defense is kind of difficult to play because, I don't know, this is a thing where, again, I'm waiting to see, like, maybe I'm gonna get some more time with the game and it's gonna become clearer. But right now, because of the speed of the game and because the players move so slow and because they're stuck in mud, that makes the defense feel even more difficult. So when you're guarding a guy like T-Mac, you try to crowd him, you try to cut him off in the direction that he's going, but it's really hard to change directions with your defenders. It's really hard to stay with guys. I don't know, to be honest with you, I'm just gonna say I don't understand defense yet. I don't fully get it yet. I understand the contest more than I understand how to actually defend somebody, because the contests are nice. You have options of like really trying to contest somebody or trying to contest without fouling, which I'm pretty sure has been there, but you have different options of blocks, whether you want to really like swat somebody's shit or whether you just want to try to like tip it. You have options like that, which is cool because I've clearly seen that difference with Anthony Davis. I've really volleyball spiked some people's shit. There were some unnecessary changes. So do you guys remember quick plays? It used to be that you would press L1 and icons would appear above players' heads and you just press the button of the player that you want to select and you call a play for him. Yeah, so now to do that, you have to press L1, which brings up a menu with different options. Then you have to press R1 to make the buttons appear over players' heads. Then you have to press that player's button. Then you access their play menu. Okay, who came up with that? Who put that in there and thought it was a good idea? I need to look closer at the menu because I guess they did that out of necessity. Maybe they added more options so they had to do that, but it's called quick plays. The quick plays are rocket science now. When I want to tell Anthony Davis to post up, because there was a specific situation last night where he was mismatched with a smaller defender, and to take advantage of that, I wanted him to post up. Trying to do that and racing against a clock now, it's like rocket science. If you saw a player open or if a defender was overplaying him, you used to be able to press L1 and tell that player to cut immediately. Like in under a second, you could get a player to cut to the rim. I don't even think there's a cut option in the quick play menus anymore. You know what? I'm not gonna say that definitively. I'm pretty sure there is and I haven't seen it. But now your options to get somebody to cut they're terrible. I went back to 2K University to make sure that it was what I thought it was. And so basically there, you know, the little icon that appears under people's feet because it's supposed to tell you like where the ball is gonna go next if you press X. Basically the directional passing thing, yeah. So if you want a player to cut, there has to be that directional passing thing under their feet so that you can take control of them. You have to hold triangle, which tells them to cut, and when you release triangle, it will pass the ball to them. Now that's a horrible system because when I've told that player to cut, if he gets cut off by somebody and I release the triangle button, it still passes it to them. It still passes it to them and the ball gets picked off. So if I see him get cut off, now I'm forced to give up the ball pretty much. I have to press X and unload the ball, or else he's gonna unload that pass. At least that's what I've experienced so far. If there's another way around that, let me know. But yeah, the quick play change was absolutely unnecessary. That's a horrible change. That is a horrible quality of life change. I don't know who wrote that down and said, yeah, this is a good idea. It ruined the idea of quick plays. It takes time. It takes extra seconds off the clock to go do that now. Some more gameplay stuff. Okay, this was big, right? Illegal screens, and then your AI teammates fouling when they don't need to. I only experienced in all my time playing this game over the last 48 hours, I've only experienced 2 illegal screens that weren't actually illegal screens, and I think only 2 reach-in fouls. It's happened way less. Like, it used to happen every single game in 2K. That is not the case so far, yet there were a couple of illegal screens I have to go back and look at, but from my memory, they weren't anything that I think I had control over. They were with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, and it was like after I had already passed the screen, I think AD and DeMarcus just like shoved the guys for no reason. It only happened twice, so definitely it's been somewhat alleviated, but I don't know. As I play this game more throughout the year, that could potentially still be a problem. And if it is, that's just unacceptable. That's unacceptable because this is a new game. You've had a year to work on it. This has been a very clear problem that everybody knows about. It's been brought to their attention. So come on, man. Come on. Why would that even be there at all, right? I understand there's going to be illegal screens sometimes and reach-in fouls sometimes, but if those same exact animations return from last year, those same exact issues, and people are losing possessions because of that, come on, that's ridiculous. And even though I've only seen it twice, I'm only bringing it up because I have seen it. And so maybe it's been scaled back, but you never know what 2K is going to look like even a week from now. Speaking of that, this would have actually been at the beginning of the video, or at the beginning of the gameplay section, but I see that it's going to be fixed. If you're playing offline right now, the reason I said I am all but dodging offline, because the problem from NBA 2K17, the bug where players will double team at the half court, or they will come across half court to double team, yeah, that bug is back. I have not seen it since NBA 2K17. It has not been there since 2K17. And opening day, yeah, if your player even scores like 2 buckets, the CPU is sometimes sending double teams across the half court, and you already know what that means. Your player gets doubled across the half court line, somebody's left open under the rim, the game is now too easy. You can be up by like 25 points in an instant because it's an actual glitch. Now, I'm not going in on that because I did see a tweet from a dev saying that they've already acknowledged it and the engineer is working on it. That will 100% be fixed, but until it is, I am steering clear of offline modes because that's just boring. That is absolutely boring. I don't want to run up 40 points with somebody because the defense was actually glitching. That's stupid. So I'm glad it's been brought to their attention. I'm glad they're actually acknowledging it, unlike some other things. But my question with that is, like, it's the same thing as it was in 2K17. How did that even get there? Video games go through testing cycles, right? Video games go through testing cycles. You have game testers. Being that this is, because I had multiple people send me this, so I know this came up in testing. Did you not see that this was an issue? Why would this be an issue in the final retail version, but not in the ones that you saw before you released it? That I cannot understand. But whatever, it's gonna be fixed. It's gonna be changed by next week. I think there's gonna be a lot of things changed by next week, man, because when I tell you the complaining about this game is at an all-time high, and here's where I differ from everybody, because I said I differ at the beginning. I think there's some tweaks that could make this gameplay really enjoyable. Like, I enjoy the fact that people can't just hold on to R2 all game and just run back and forth. I really enjoy that. I think with a speed tweak, that could be really enjoyable because now people are really going to have to get good on them sticks. You're going to actually have to learn varied dribble moves. You're not just going to be flicking the analog back and forth and doing dumb shit and running past people. I enjoy that. Unlike popular opinion, I do not think this gameplay is just total trash and just needs to be completely reverted to last year. I think there was some positive changes here. I think if they were literally just to change the speed of the game, please tweak the quick play menus, because what's the point of calling it quick play if it's going to take 2 or 3 seconds for me to actually go into it when it used to take like 1 or less than 1. What's the point of that? You change that, maybe tweak shooting a little bit, because from what I found, a lot of people are saying they can't make 3-point shots to save their life. I'm not gonna lie, I've been missing hella open shots, but I've been making some too, so I'm not sure. I don't know, you know, I never really liked tweaking shooting because it's a thing where either everybody's making everything or nobody's making anything. I don't know what the perfect balance is for shooting. I never know. I think some of the complaints that people had is that shooting is just too slow right now. Yeah, that's something really stupid I heard, is that you need a badge, or a player has to have a badge to speed up his release. Like, what? Don't players just shoot how they shoot? Like T-Mac's release, doesn't he just kind of shoot how he did in real life? Why would anybody need a badge to have a quicker release? It's either their release is what it is, either it's fast or it's not. That's a terrible idea. But from my hours of gameplay, I feel like it's not as far off the mark as people are saying. My opinion is that people are getting on trying to play NBA 2K19 right now, and it's shooting them in the foot. Because that was my experience last night. Out of the 6 games I played, dudes did not grasp that they could not run around everywhere. And so I was locking people up because they just kept trying to run, and if you just keep trying to do that, and if you just keep trying to dribble past somebody and you're clearly not getting past them, you're going to have your dribble picked up. That's one positive part about the defense. Yeah, you know, with cherry picking and anything that you think that you could get away with in NBA 2K19, you bring it to 2K20, it's a different game. That's what I'm saying. People who saying that this is the same game, it is not. For better or for worse, it is not. And if you're getting on and you're trying to do these same exact things, a lot of them don't work anymore. Maybe some dribble moves work the same, maybe you can string together some dribble moves and make it look like 2K19, but the momentum is definitely different. The speed is definitely different. Even if that's tweaked, that is the big change that they tried to make this year, clearly, and it will not play like last year's game. You have to learn a little bit. You have to learn how to play this game. That's why I spent so long playing last night. It's because you have to change how you actually think about your strategy. But yes, as expected, there needs to be some tweaks. I think that there will be tweaks, and we're gonna see how this goes. There's a lot of things here that need fixing. Like right now in my career, you can't even, you don't have the name, your name is not on the back of your jersey. For some reason, a lot of people are running into that glitch where their last name is not appearing on the back of their jersey. I am one of them. Why in Summer League of my career do people wear their real uniforms? Why don't we have Summer League uniforms? I think that's kind of ratchet. Now, I actually didn't talk about my career at all. I guess I'll give this a little bit of a little piece. My career is good this year, man. I'm not gonna front. You can trust my opinion because I hate my career every single year. I have never liked it. Back in the days of NBA 2K13, I played my career and I was having fun. And then we lost in the playoffs and they brought us back and it was like the season just restarted and nothing was different. I thought that was stupid. I got bored of it very fast. Every year in the next gen, I feel like the stories have always been cringe. They've been things that nobody would ever say. Like, who was writing these stories? Whoever they changed to write the story this year, they did a damn good job. It's interesting. It makes me wonder what happens next. I don't want to spoil it for you and say too much, but they really made some changes this year where they actually tried to give you the experience of somebody coming up through the NBA and not just this cartoonish, like this cartoonish basketball story, right? Like all the stories from NBA 2K15 and all the ones that have came out so far, I feel like there's stories where you're like 5 years old and you're thinking about making the NBA, and that seems like that's who it was targeted to. 2K19 is like a legitimate, you know, dealing with media and dealing with consequences of your actions and all this type of stuff. I think it's really cool, and I think it's because they got some real players in on it this year too. LeBron James had some work in it. I know Maverick Carter. There's actually some there was actually some real input this year, I believe. So it's been fun. I've never enjoyed cutscenes, but I haven't skipped one. If you're not a traditional My Career player, I suggest you actually play it this year. That was one of my goals anyways. I said that I wanted to get into it. I wanted to go on the park some, and I just wanted to go through the process of leveling my player up. I wanted to have fun with it, and I never had fun with My Career stories before past like the first couple of days. So yeah, that is honestly all I think I'm going to say right now. There's more I could say. There's probably like 1,000 more glitches out there. When the game very first dropped, there was a My Team glitch where people had like 300 tokens, so they had to take Triple Threat online or Triple Threat offline. They had to take that down. I'm not sure if it is back yet. Look, man, I'm gonna just shoot it to you straight. There is problems with the game, and there's good things about the game. There are a lot of problems with the game, definitely. I feel like this is one of the more disappointing launches just because of how much stayed the same. And I feel like they looked at it this year and said, look, we have a next gen game to work on. This year we're going to change the gameplay, and that's about it. I think that the gameplay is not as far off as people think it is. I also think that people are going to complain until it's completely ruined, because the way it is right now, again, you do a few tweaks and it'll become gameplay that people just have to learn to play. But if they really give in and they change the gameplay completely, you're gonna get a game that is totally different from the one we're playing right now, with different exploits and all that stuff. And it's only been 2 days, so we just have to see how it goes. This is the reality of gaming today. Reality reality is that there's going to be patches, there's going to be changes, so that's why I'm not even diving like too deep into some of this stuff, because a week from now, maybe illegal screens will be a bigger problem. Maybe they won't be a problem at all. Right now, I would say out of all the games I played, they're not a problem at all, because it's only happened twice. Twice in every single My Career game I've played, in the online and the My Team. Out of all those games, it's only happened twice. That to me is not a huge problem. But again, it wasn't a problem when 2K19 dropped. So if they change a couple things, who knows if that's going to come back. At this point, this is just everything that I think you need to know. At this point, if you don't have the game, I would wait to buy it. I would honestly wait until people say, until you know what it's going to look like, right? Until some patches come out, until you get some info on the patches. I would wait right now. I had my friend hit me up the morning after, on Thursday or Friday morning. He asked me if it was worth it, because we always used to play, we played 2K growing up. And I was like, straight up, if you're not going to play this all the time, if you're not an avid 2K player, you don't really need to buy this right now. An avid 2K player like me, someone who makes videos off of it, I can notice small differences because I've played every single 2K pretty much to hell, except 2K17. That's the only one I ever just tossed to the trash can. That's the only game, that's the only 2K I think I've ever just not played at all. But yeah, an avid 2K player like me, yeah, you will notice the gameplay is definitely a lot different. You'll probably have some fun with My Team and the changes they made there. You'll probably enjoy My Career. But if you're somebody who just, you know, plays 2K like sometimes when you're off of work or whatever, you don't need this right now. I would honestly wait until Black Friday. I would wait until you get some changes, or until you hear what the changes are. It is not a must-have right now. Hell, if you're not an avid player, you might even be disappointed. Am I disappointed? I'm disappointed in the things that I believe were easy to change that they didn't. I'm disappointed that Play Now Online got no change at all, because they have a saying that if it's not broken, don't fix it, but Play Now Online was broken and it wasn't even touched. So I'm disappointed in that, but I'm also just kind of waiting on the changes that are coming to the gameplay so I can really evaluate it. This is probably going to be something that's fluid for like the next month. I'll probably discover more things. And yeah, that's basically what I think about the game right now, man. It is a fluid situation. And I guess the final thing I would say is, if you're on the fence or you feel like you absolutely need this game, to be honest, you might even just wait until NBA 2K21. I think that is the next time we're going to see huge changes. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap today's podcast up with that. If there was something I did not mention about the game, make sure to leave it in the comment section. Help each other out. If there's something that people are confused about with the controls or whatever, if there's glitches I didn't mention here because I hadn't ran into them, leave that in the comment section and let me know what you think. Remember that if you want to hear this pod on Spotify or on iTunes, the link is in the comment section and the description. Make sure to hit the like button and comment if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to the channel name if you want notifications when this drops every single Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.